Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Sports Avenue. This episode was pre-recorded. It was never released onto YouTube, so I wanted to upload to YouTube this week. This episode was done 4 months ago, but it's still prevalent today. Just want to say thank you for my little brother for joining me, Anthony. It's much appreciated once you listen to this. Let's dive into it, and if you would like to be a guest on the show, I am always looking for guests and would love to hear your sports journey. Look in the description below for all contact information for all social media. More than welcome to reach out. Anybody is, and we can talk about and move on from there. And here's the show. Enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow on all social media. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 32nd episode of Sports Avenue. I'm your host, Jimmy Simonis, and today we're not talking just about football or baseball. We're going into eSports with my little brother. He's going to be joining me as a guest today, and we're going to talk some eSports. He mainly plays Rainbow Six Siege, so that's mainly what we're going to be talking about, but I've been looking forward to this episode. I just got the idea a few days ago, and I'm really looking forward to talk some eSports with him and how his lifestyle shapes around it. So, guys, we're going to get right into it, and let's go. So, let's get right down into it. Anthony, how you doing today? How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
How's school?
Just wonderful.
All right, I can feel that. You
always.
can feel that enthusiasm. So, Anthony, I mean, growing up with you, I know you've been into esports or I want to say esports, video games in general. I mean, you've always been the kid that likes to play video games. So,
I always beat you in the sports games, obviously.
oh yeah, beating me in MLB The Show. What 2-0? Just kidding. Do you remember that one time I struck you out in that a really terrible slider that they called a strike 3 on Grady Sizemore and you turned off the game?
It had to be Grady Sizemore, though. He was my favorite player back then, okay?
Yeah, right.
I never...
So
we're not going to talk about the Man 19, okay? We're not going to talk about that game.
oh, the game that you were up the entire time, then I come back with my second to last play as a 4 verticals, and you're getting your Snapchat ready, and I beat you still? Yeah, that game?
I had to get my Snapchat ready. It was my first game. I was almost going to beat you and ever.
Well, that never happened. And by the way, I was the Browns. He was the Kansas City Chiefs.
Chiefs.
All right. Anyways, we got to get down right into it. So, Anthony, when we're talking about esports, I want to ask you first, what does it mean to you?
Well, since it's been... I didn't start getting into esports since 2 years ago when Rainbow Six Siege kind of started to grow. When I used to play on PS4, I played Fortnite a lot, obviously. Now, you're probably not going to believe this, but I was actually going to quit Siege and try to focus on Fortnite because I felt like I could have done better. Then I started to watch Siege Pro League more, and I was like, this is the game I want to go pro in. Then I kept playing. Then a year ago in July, I got my PC, and then I just play Siege all the time, over 4,000 hours in total. Then I actually looked up how esports is evolving from Syracuse's university. Their actual website, their online business website says they have a global market that is growing quickly. It says there's an estimate that there were 270 million global fans of esports in 2016 and projected that number to grow to 495 million in 2020. So I feel like esports is good. People don't realize that it can be a job because if you are really good at the game, you can make money off it. And if you stream it, like your own gameplay, people will watch you if you're good, try maybe donate and subscribe and whatever.
Right.
That all
right.
comes in play.
Right, but at the same time, this is one of my questions. When we're actually, I'll get to that one later. I mean, I know since we're brothers that the amount of time you've put into the gaming. So when you talk about evolving and how esports is evolving, how have you evolved as a competitor within esports?
Well, when I started to watch esports, I kind of got more competitive into gaming. Like, I'm trying to do tournaments with. I'm trying to find a team, which I think I found a team. Hopefully, again. And we've been doing we've only done one tournament. We got our butt kicked, but that was our first time all playing together as a group. But one guy is in the Navy, so he has to work at nights, and it's kind of hard to go around his schedule. But he's trying to get out, so we're gonna try to practice a little bit more. But I think I got a lot more competitive into Rainbow Six Siege, especially when I started to watch eSports and how these people can make a living off it.
So, can you explain the Rainbow Six Siege landscape for people that don't know what it's about? Like you can talk about like your favorite teams, the popularity of it, and you said like how it was growing, and
Yeah.
some favorite players, teams that you watched, and you've said that you've played against some people. So talk about that.
Oh yeah. So if you guys don't know what Rainbow Six Siege is, it's a 5v5 competitive game where there's 5 players. Well, 5v5. Uh, each character in the game has their own like unique operator. They're called operators, where they have their own special ability, I guess. It's been out for 4 years. 2015 it came out actually.
So about 4.
Oh yeah, 4. And there's like 3 game modes. It's bomb, hostage, and secure area. The most competitive or the esports one is always bomb. They have specific maps and rules other than like the actual where people play. But there are a lot of teams that are like coming into the Siege community like as of like this year. They have different regions like Latin America, Europe, Asia, Japan, North America. But I consider the North America the worst region because they're always out of the tournaments like first. Like they are the Cleveland Browns 2016 of football, basically. That's why I'm gonna consider it. Like NA is like the worst region to be in,
So
and
is there
hopefully that will change
is there a
soon.
reason for that lack of? Is there a reason like lack of talent? Is there like are there coaches? I mean, like what's the
Yes,
reason
there are
for the poor
coaches.
play?
Yeah, they have 5 players obviously. Then the coach will be like behind them, but they can't like help them during the match. Only like between games where they can go over their strategies and stuff. But I think the reason why NA's lag because there's I think lack of skill personally, but like a lot of these teams they do these scrimmages and stuff. Then if someone dude's bad, they get kicked right off, and they have to find another person. And so
Also, there's like no room for error, huh?
no, not really. Like with the Europe, they they just keep playing. Because I heard the one commentator for Siege actually, he was talking about it, and that's where I got it from, which I agree with. There's a lack. I don't think there's enough chances for people if they do bad in like one game, then they get kicked out the team. I mean, if it's like multiple and they're just not right meant, I guess, then I understand. Like the one NA team, Evil Geniuses, they've had their team since the game came out almost, like since the Pro League started for Siege, and they just kicked their coach. Well, their coach has only been there for 9 months, but they kicked their team captain because probably just wasn't meant to be, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
they're still trying to find a coach. I know that, and they
right.
got a new player, which came from Challenger League,
Mm-hmm.
and he's done actually a lot since.
All right. All right. So my next question was going to ask you. So since esports has a little bit more like rules and discrepancies, I guess what are I mean, well, not discrepancies. What are the discrepancies? What are the differences between like you playing normally compared to like competitive rules?
So in Siege, like ranked, it's just like it just helps you like get known against pro players if you're at the highest rank. Like I played against so many pro players. It's like it's cool because you can get known by playing against them or playing with them, especially like the good ones. Yeah, and usually like the pro players will stream, so you can get known in their stream, and they'll kind of keep an eye on you, I guess. Like the one player, he's on TSM now. His name is Bolo. He actually turned 18 in June. He would be streaming, and he was like the hottest free agent. Like it's crazy how you just go from streaming the game to becoming a pro player, and like as soon as you turned 18, like as soon as he turned 18, he was already on a team. Then his first tournament was on his first pro league match was on his birthday, his 18th birthday, which is required. You had to be 18 to do professional game Siege. So that's hoping what I can do, or that's what I'm hoping to do, but we'll find out.
So I guess
So
how do you train yourself to be at the level these pro players? Like, is it the consistent repetition and strategy, or like what is it that makes you grow as a player? I'm assuming that's what it is, because most
yeah,
things you just have to practice. You know,
yeah.
obviously you have to understand your
Like
failures
if
and
you,
grow from it.
yeah. Like if you just play to play, you're obviously not gonna be higher rank. You're just playing for fun. Doesn't matter. But if I lose a game, I'll just get so mad and stuff, and I just try
Oh, I know.
next game. Yeah, you'll know.
Yeah,
How many
I know
controls
from
have I broken?
experience.
Headsets. Hey,
So
I haven't
just
broken the TV or anything, so.
well, you were saying some of that stuff last night, but I'm not gonna get much into that. But
Hey, I
um,
haven't broken my monitors yet.
yeah.
Yet.
So you said
But
like okay, I'm gonna dive into this next question. You said
eh,
for a player it's tough to get into, or I want to say yeah, I would say would you say it's tough?
it kind of depends, like how your skill wise is, like what roles you want to play for the team. If you want to be a support or just frag, get the kills.
All right, so
I
what's
mean,
what's your
it all
role?
plays in.
Oh, what would be your role?
I'm a fragger. I'm not gonna lie. There's not that for Pro League and Siege. There are not a lot of support operators or players out there. A lot of people just want to get the kills and just. But like, if you are a good support player, a team will definitely pick you up because there are not a lot of support players out there in ESL Siege.
Hmm.
Like,
So, in your opinion, what's the biggest challenge for you to for your talent breaking into the gaming world, trying to get noticed and stuff like that?
my biggest challenge is, like for me or just in general.
For you and in general, do
Like
both.
for me, like I don't have a great PC, so I don't run that many frames. So it's kind of like hard for me to play and stream at the same time, but I still do. But like all these other players, they're known because they do the tournaments. They like plug them. Like they're just known for being like really good, and like they just stream their content, and that's how they really get known. Which I started to do a few weeks ago when I found out I could stream, but not great quality or anything. But
Well, it's better than nothing, though, right?
yeah, that's why I do it. I mean, I want to stream, so whatever. Since I don't get many frames, I really don't care. Like an average player or was streaming, they get like 200, almost 200 frames. When I play and stream, I only get like 80.
So how do you
So
overcome that?
hmm?
How do you overcome like that? How do you overcome that?
Just gotta get a side job if you wanna improve your like tower or whatever console or PC you have,
Mm-hmm.
which I work with that obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm trying to do. Um, it just takes time, I guess, patience, something I don't have.
So, who are your inspirations for gaming? Like, where did you find this passion? I mean, I know you played it a lot when you were growing up, but are there any people
Yeah.
you have like you idolize or look up to?
Well, this one streamer, his name is Pengu. Well, his username is Pengu. I don't remember his name though. He's from Europe or I can't remember where he's from. Denmark, Denmark. I just that was like the first team his team was like the first team I've ever watched in Pro League. Then they've won almost every major. They would they're like the best team in the world, which they haven't proved this year yet. But then this other guy named Bolo, he's the one who turned 18. He's just like his like flicks are perfect, like from window to doorway or whatever. It's just
What's a flick?
perfect. So I'm trying to be like them, but hopefully better in the future.
Yeah, what's a flick?
Like if you're shooting at a doorway, then let's say you're just getting shot from a window, he instantly shoots at the window and like kills them.
Oh, okay, all right.
So your reaction time has to be really well for that too. Like it's just crazy what he does compared to other players.
Actually, yeah, that
Like
was actually
he's
one of my questions. You know, I've seen your videos
yeah.
and on Instagram and Twitch and all that, and
Mhm.
I'm sitting there like, how did you develop your reflexes to be that fast is it something you've like had, I guess, all your life and I just never knew, or yeah, I mean, really,
I
how
honestly
did you
don't
get
know.
these reflexes like that? I mean, you get like shot once and
Yeah,
you're already aiming at the other
yeah.
guy.
I guess like sometimes you can hear the person's footsteps like in the game like very clearly and like where. Sometimes your teammates will call them out, so I'll like pre-fire. Like as I'm going through the doorway, I would be shooting at the corner or something, or I just don't know. Like my reaction time is like somewhat decent, so I just gotta work on my aim, and that's my game. Also, like I'm a toxic player, I guess, because I like to rush into a place and just kill everybody, which isn't smart in Pro League, and that's why you'll never see it.
Mm-hmm.
But
So, how are you adjusting your game to fit what the pro league wants, or I guess is?
well, I'm just trying to change my sensitivity. Like I feel like if I get a better PC with more frames and like I'll stutter in a game and it would just like mess me up like lag. Like once I get a better PC and I will have like consistent frames instead of like going from 80 to like 70, I could say like 180 or 70, depending on how good my PC is, and I won't like lag and stuff. So I feel like that will help me a lot, honestly. Because it's kind of hard because when the game is like lagging, it's kind of hard to shoot the guys, and it's just consistency, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like you said, Rainbow Six Siege is already 4 years old.
Yeah.
Do you think by the time you go pro or you're able to go pro at 18 years old, do you think that game's going to go away? I know Ubisoft has like talked about the game going on for a long time, but
Yeah, they want. I don't know, honestly. Like, CSGO is a good game to, I guess, demonstrate. That game has been out for 10 years.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm
Um,
just saying. Do you think Rainbow Six Siege has the capacity to last that long?
I feel like it can because they have Challenger League too, Rainbow Six Siege, where it's basically like college football, I guess if you want to compare it like that, like the lower league of pro.
Mm, yeah, so is that
And
what you do?
I am not old enough to do that yet. I have to be 18, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I'm only 16.
So like,
But
so you do like tournaments and stuff though, like right? Like with
yeah, I
like,
do tournaments with my team. I haven't done any tournaments with this team yet because we just like made a team and stuff. But I'm hoping this weekend we'll figure something out because the one guy, like I say, he's in the Navy.
mm-hmm.
And he wants to go pro in Siege, and the other guy is like everybody wants to go pro on this team. So, but my only concern is me. I'm the only one that's under 18, so I don't know if they want to stick with me and wait the 2 years, or they'll just go and find someone else. That's only my concern because I feel like we're a really strong team. We just had to do strategies, what roles we were gonna play, and how we're gonna play
So I mean, have
them.
you discussed with the team? You know, your concern. I mean, that concern. Or you
Yeah,
good?
I mean they said they're willing to wait the 2 years, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'd be different if you have like
Yeah,
something on the
if
line.
I feel like if I was like 17 turning 18 this year, they will wait. But since I'm only 16 and my birthday's in July, I don't think they will have the patience enough, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
And like, okay, so we'll move on. Um, this next question, you already mentioned that you have 4,000 hours played on Siege, right? Is that including the
Mhm.
console time? Because I remember you played
Oh
on
yeah,
PS.
that's console time as well.
So for 4,000 hours, everyone says it takes 10,000 hours to master something. You're already 40%
Hmm.
of the way there.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I'm
so
looking right now at my game. I have 2,450 hours on Siege. That does not include the PS4. That does not include the other like the test server Siege has, which I have 100 hours on that. Then I have another account which I have like 20, 25. So
so my question to you is, how do you motivate yourself, or what drives you to play the same game every day?
I just want to get better and just go pro in it. I honestly don't really care for that many other games. Like obviously Fortnite is the biggest pro league game right now. I mean their World Cup had $3 million jackpot in it, which a 16-year-old won. It's just crazy how esports has just evolved in general with these tournaments and stuff. But for Rainbow Six Siege, I don't care what the money is. I just want to play in tournaments. I just want to be competitive in general. Like do a tournament, every week. Just learn more stuff in the game, I guess. Improve my gameplay, help my teammates improve.
How do you do that? Like, I mean, was there a way? Like, I'm assuming. Do you have like like sports like at least in football
Yeah.
specifically, players watch film. What do you, I mean? Do
Yeah.
you go back and just watch your clips and like look at what you
Yeah.
can do better?
Like a coach, like if you have a coach, they can just like record the gameplay, or if you like each player records their gameplay and they can send the file to the coach, so they can have the coach can have each point of view and stuff from see where the mistakes were, if there were, see what could have been improved. Then like you just practice by that. Like if you have a team house, it's so much easier as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like which most of these pro players are these siege teams really don't yet.
Mm-hmm.
But they have like their headquarters from their organization, which they would go to like for boot camp. They call it like before like a major tournament, so they can all practice together in one room instead of global. Because a lot of these players live in different states and countries, you know.
What's I'm saying, like the guys you're like the team you're on, you probably don't know really any of them personally, right?
No, the one guy lives in Chicago. The other guy lives in Virginia.
So how do you develop? Well, I was say, how do you develop chemistry when you guys really had just met? I guess it's just kind of weird because I mean you guys just decide you guys want to play as a team, then you guys don't have that chemistry or it's gonna take you guys longer to develop that chemistry.
I mean, we've been playing together for a couple of months now, but like not as a like competitive team yet. And we were like, I was like, I want to go pro one day, and they were like, we do too. I was like, do you guys want to make a team? They were like, we can start. Then we got other guys to join us. Then that's where we went from there.
How'd you like recruit?
Just like how their gameplay is, what they do, how they play, what role like support. Like we're trying to find a support player right now, but it just takes time. Like I said a while ago, you just gotta have patience.
Mm-hmm. So I know earlier we were talking about like normal games and you play in these tournaments. What are like the differences between these games and tournaments? Like just like playing normally, like you said, like the casual or like ranked rounds.
It's just people play smarter. Like in ranked, you just see people running around the map like they don't care, and I mean a lot of people do care. It's just really annoying when.
Well, you get the toxic person like me that breaches everything and team kills.
Yep, that's what always gets me mad. Then, like in competitive, you actually strategize with your team. You make plays. Like the one team, G2 eSports, they literally brought a playbook for their last tournament. Each player had their own like playbook in front of them for each strategy on each map and stuff. It was crazy.
Do you have a playbook?
No, we don't. We just made our team like a few weeks ago. I mean, I haven't had time to practice or anything. Mm-hmm. But that's what the coach is for. Help you make strategy, try to improve each player.
I mean, is the coach like that much of a benefit towards the team? Or, I mean, because if these players are kind of aware of what they're already doing, are they really beneficial?
I think they are, honestly, because if each player doesn't realize what they're doing wrong, that's where the coach steps in, and they help make strategies too.
Okay.
Because if the players don't know like a strategy and the coach does, the coach tells them, then they dry run it in a like custom game or anything, or against another team, which people do. That's how they practice. They do scrimmages against other teams, like not streaming or in a tournament, just locally or just online. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of these teams practice probably every day for 6 hours. Well, not every day, but like every other day for 6 hours.
And you do that every day, huh?
Oh yeah, I only play for like 8 hours a day after school, right? But like the G2 eSports, I heard on YouTube or something, like they they like try to scrimmage 8. They try to do like 8 scrimmages a week. Like I only do like 1 a week. They do 8. So that's probably like 2 a day if they do it like every other day or something.
Yeah, so how do you find scrimmages? Just like looking up like random opponents or
Like
competitors?
some of these teams like put on their Twitter like looking for a scrimmage at like whatever time and date. Or there's like ESL, they hold tournaments, which is the ones I do, but I'm not gonna say anything else because that's that. But like a lot of these players are like good friends from the tournaments. Like that's how they meet from other teams. So I'm sure they have each other's phone numbers and stuff. So they'd probably text each other, "Hey, you want to scrim?" And they're like, "Sure." I I feel like that's what they do, but personally don't know how they do it.
Okay. All right, this will give me like my last question. I just kind of wanted to
Mhm.
save this one. So, you know me, I really have struggled to call esports an actual sport. So, I was just wondering if you can tell me why and explain to me why it should be considered a sport.
Hmm. I honestly, it's just not like a physical sport, but it's mental because you have to know what you're doing. You have to make up. I mean, it's kind of like an actual sport. It's just not physical, like all these other sports, like
Yeah,
football.
that's
If
what
you
I
want to
was getting
consider
caught up.
basketball,
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you in that statement because I've always felt like a sport was physical,
yeah,
and that's I guess that's where I do get caught up on it because but then when you talk about the mental side, I do agree with that. And I didn't realize that they have like playbooks and stuff. So
yeah. I mean, not all teams do, but I think a lot of some of these teams do. But that's why they call it esports, which is I think a lot electronical sports. I think that's what it stands for.
hmm
That's why they have their own different name for it. Instead of like sport, it's esports. So it's like a different category than normal sports like football, basketball, hockey, golf, volleyball, and all that. So
okay, so I'm gonna make this the last actual question. So
mhm.
with video games and everything, with video games and esports, what what has been the most beneficial thing to you playing video games?
I guess just I think it helps with your social awareness because you talk to these people like every day if they're your like close friend, I guess, online. Like I used to know a guy on PS4 for since almost Siege came out, and I still talk to him too. It's just I feel like it creates friendships as well.
But there's gonna be those people that are gonna say, well, they're not physical friendships. You don't
Yep,
know these people
yep,
personally and all that.
yeah, and I don't listen to them. um,
All
let's
right.
just say something.
No, I mean, again, Anthony, I just want to say thank you for joining me. It was a great time. You
Oh,
definitely taught me something, and
yeah.
that's kind of what I've
I
been.
also want to say one more time or one thing.
What?
If a person does not like physical sports and like loves to play video games, they can go for esports as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they don't like contact or anything, I mean, yeah, there's like golf or anything, but if they really like to play video games, and obviously they have to get their parents to go for it or support them, but they can go try esports, see how that turns out, and they don't. Oh well. But I feel like a lot of kids can rely on that if they don't like football or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of these kids growing up right now love video games. And they do like sports, it's just maybe not as much like I do. Like I'm a Browns fan, I guess. I like football. I used to play, but I like video games more, and that's why I do video game or a lot of Rainbow Six Siege than sports. So I feel like a lot of these kids can rely or try to rely on esports instead of
Have like that outlet to play something, and not.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right, that's what I was wondering when you meant rely, like
yeah,
like mentally put something to them,
yeah,
like focus on something.
yeah.
All right, Anthony, I think that's gonna wrap up your talk show today. I just want to say thank you for joining me. It's been a blast, being able to
Yeah.
because we've hung out and stuff like that, but we've never talked about this like that, and you can Again, I want to use this as a platform to help educate people about these sports that are growing or not as well known.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to say thank you. Definitely, we'll definitely be back here at some point on your rise to fame on the esports atmosphere. So yeah, Anthony, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It was an awesome learning experience for me. I hope you understand that.
Oh yeah. And I hope other people take this as a learning experience too, where video games is just not you sitting on your butt doing nothing for hours. If you want to play competitive, then obviously you gotta play a lot. But
yeah, definitely. All right, that's going to conclude the 32nd episode of Sports Avenue. You've listened to my guest Anthony Simonis, my little brother, talk about esports in depth. Yeah, I mean, if you're interested if you play a sport, if you coach a sport, if you're involved with a sport, or if you're a fan, if you would like to be a guest on the show, email me at sportsav440@gmail.com. We can definitely set up a time. We can definitely set up the place. We can definitely figure out the details. Be sure to join. I would love to talk to you. I would love to use this as a platform to educate people in sports. So please, reach out. Check out social media. I'll put it in the description below. But Anthony, thank you. Again, we'll see you next time on Sports Avenue. And don't forget, the road to sports starts here.
Before we end,
Okay.
dog check.